Good morning or good afternoon, everyone. This is Jenny Wise from WiseMind Soul Warrior Yoga Psychology School, and I am honored and I am grateful to have Chrissy Hawthorne on with us. She is actually one of our mentors in the program, and so I'm super excited to have her on as a mentor, and she'll share a little bit about that experience. But first, I want to get into you kind of sharing, Chrissy. First of all, what brought you to us connecting, right? How we connected personally. And then a little bit about your yoga journey and what brought you to yoga. And then we'll talk a little bit about what brought you to the training. So let's start with like how you and I connected, right? How do we know each other personally? I think it was back in 2019 that we connected. So it's been a few years that we've known each other.
It may have, I'm trying to recall when I went to your class in Cary, but it was a group of my friends, and we all went out there, and that was the initial like meeting point. And I just like the information that you gave in that just little class was something that I carried on for years. So it was just, it always stuck. That was something that was like very like useful information. So, and it grew me throughout the years. And so my yoga journey began, and it wasn't intentionally to be a teacher. I was serving in a children's ministry, and I was getting to the point where, my kids were young. One was in school, and he was a little bit high energy. I knew that he needed good structure. He's thrived better there. I was struggling with getting everybody to eat healthy because I was, I had a garden. I was trying to cook out of the garden, and there were sensory things going on. So I thought, well, there's got to be something out there that could maybe, be a good help to my family. So I just went into the training mainly just for me and to kind of get some sort of stress relief and routine, and went in to learn more about nutrition and what our body needs to just have everything aligned. And then I would just bring it to my kids, and they, it would be something that we did at home. And when I was finished with teacher training, of course, I was asked to teach kids yoga at the studio that I was trained in. So, and it just kind of snowballed from there. I just, kept being asked to do other things. And then it just actually changed into I was writing classes that I was excited to share, and from my experiences of what worked and what didn't, what worked. So then I did take some continued education things along the way. And when you had the 300-hour come up, it was perfect timing because I was, teaching in a studio again after, that little break that COVID had everybody home. Right. And it was just perfect timing also because in my personal life, I needed, I had like some areas that I was stuck, and I probably needed a little bit of a guide to get through that.
Yeah. Well, I do remember, I'm pretty sure it was January 2019. It might have been 18, but I'm pretty sure it was 19. And I was covering actually mindfulness, meditation, and yoga psychology. And then I was also, it was January. So remember we were doing setting the intention and setting the sankalpa and picking a word for the year. Mm-hmm. So do you remember that now? That's what we were doing. And then I remember you sharing that you had continued that, year after year of setting an intention, a sankalpa for the year instead of a resolution, because as you know, 85% of resolutions fail. That's why you set an intention for the year. So I'm super so grateful that you kind of took the leap to be part of the training, and to also be a mentor. And you are an amazing mentor. Everybody has such great feedback, and you're so patient, and you go like above and beyond to make students feel comfortable. So I'm super, super grateful that you are part of the leadership team and a mentor for us. So I did want to kind of take a moment, speaking of the mentor stuff, we'll just kind of talk about that here, of what are some of the things that we're doing. If you want to take a moment to share around practicing with guided meditations, with breath work, the fact that we meet with the students once a month for 90 minutes. And I did want to take a moment to share, for those of you that hear this that are like, well, I don't know if I want to teach yoga, that's out of my comfort zone. Just know, and Chrissy and I have talked about this many times, that yoga teacher training is an opportunity to step outside your comfort zone. Now, if you truly, the certification doesn't matter to you, we have women in the group that are not doing the practices. And so they're clearly not going to get a certification, but they're going through it for their own personal healing and transformation journey. So we have a lot of women that might be in corporate, that might be an entrepreneur, that they don't know if they're going to teach, and they're not a standard quote yoga teacher, but they're joining us as a way for their own personal transformation. Now, the practice part, Chrissy's going to share this, is an opportunity to step outside of your comfort zone. And any YTT program that you go through that is Yoga Alliance certified, like ours, you will be required to do a practicum. Okay, so this is not a WiseMind thing. This is a YTT thing. Okay, it's not anything different that I had to do, Chrissy had to do, and every yoga teacher that is Yoga Alliance certified. Okay, so Chrissy, do you want to take just a quick moment, like, to share some of your experience as a mentor?
Well, I enjoy, excuse me, I enjoy the once a month meeting. I think that is a way for people to actually see one another and then also get to know one another. And it actually is comfortable because you're just having kind of like if you were to go out to dinner with your girlfriends. And, we're sharing, exchanging notes, and then practicing in a way that's comfortable. You provide a lot of the material, so we have time to just have a personal practice with the material, and then when we're ready to share, it's comfortable.
Right.
So I just enjoy. I think it's just knitting women together in support.
Yeah. Well, I love, that's a great point for you to bring up, that when it comes to doing guided meditations or teaching breath work or these other things, we do give you a guide. So you could simply just use the guided meditations that we provide, or you have a choice if you want to choose something that's in alignment with each of the modules, to choose, like, for example, in module 1, you all do a guided kosha meditation. However, we've had some students ask, like, for example, could they do a meditation around shadow work? And the answer is absolutely yes, because that's in alignment with module 1 content. And we just give you those guided meditations and breath works as a guideline to help you, like Chrissy just said, so you don't have to come up with your own material. You can just focus on practicing. So let's just talk a minute about the structure of the program as far as the learning management system, us meeting in the Facebook group, that's another, the private Facebook group, that's a way for us to give more of that, like you said, knitting and creating that safe container of healing within that private Facebook group. Some of the pieces, the manual, the handouts, because you get done for you handouts as well that you can use with other students and clients. You want to share a little bit about the structure of the YTT?
I like how we do have, we can have contact with each other at any time. And that I think is very important, especially, going through this. Of course, it's a journey for yourself, but you do come across times where you do need connection with others. And this is something that, is easily accessed. Our small group meets once a month, but then of course there's that every single Wednesday that we can also connect in the group. Or, really any day, because it's there and it's, so I really do like that it's like a group of peers going through it. together.
Yeah, and you've also, every mentor is different. So I've given, all the mentors a guideline of like, here's, a guideline of what quote needs to happen. And then outside of that, I give you all flexibility as far as, how you're communicating with the students. So for example, Chrissy is using Slack and some other communication, different email strategies to get really good about communicating with the students. And then we have others that are using things like Voxer. So the point is that I've given some freedom to the mentors to figure out what works for them with their groups and their organization, outside of just a standard framework of, okay, all of you are doing this. And if you choose you want to use Slack and somebody else wants to use Voxer, I'm going to give you all, the freedom of what technology and processes that you feel the most comfortable with. If that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so from a consultation perspective, let's share about that. And then I want to talk a little bit about the retreat also. So the consultation, you and I did a consultation, just like everybody else who's part of the training. And you know that we do the consultations to really make sure that we're in alignment, that you and I are in alignment, and also that you're ready as a student to take the next step, and also to get kind of a guideline of what healing have people done before they start the program, because there is so much personal development and transformation, shadow work, family of origin work, getting to the root cause of some scaras, all of that. There's a lot of deeper work that happens within the training. So there's a lot of students who've already done like talk therapy or other forms of programs before they come into our program. So it's not necessary. It's not something that you have to do, but that's part of why we do these consultations, is so I can get, a feel for where you are, and, is it good timing, and are you ready to move into the next step? So if you want to share with students that don't know me, Chrissy, that have never, met me before, this might be their first time seeing this interview of what I'm like, to get on a consult call with, if you could share what your experience was like with that.
Okay. At first, I had my goals that I wanted to reach in my work life, and then also I was teaching and my personal life. So originally when I met with you, I was going to kind of try to focus on the teaching aspect of it, because, but as we started to talk, I felt comfortable talking about the whole package. So that is important, because of course, I know that I've gone through quite a bit of, work, self-healing and things, programs, and it really matters getting the fit of where you can actually talk about it and process through everything. Otherwise, you're still hanging on to some things in the background and not fully releasing and walking through it. So that was an important thing to me, and it was comfortable, and I felt like, it was definitely a fit.
Yeah. And I've had a lot of students like Anita and some of the others that we interviewed have said things like, it's like talking to a friend. Clearly I'm not a certified counselor, but I've had a lot of people, tell me that they share with me, as if I was a counselor, because I am very non-judgmental, and I'm here to just listen and to guide, and to create, a healing space. And the same way I am, like when we do the consultation, is the same way I am when I take people through healing work, say at the retreats, or when we work in the group coaching in the Facebook group. So, I'm going to put the link in the comments, which is, I can get this to work here, which is wisemindsoulwarrior.com/book. And so if you have not scheduled a consultation with me yet, there's the link to do it. We also are running for a limited number of students. Again, we're doing this for up to 20 students, and we're taking $1,200 off of the tuition. We also are adding a bonus, which we did with our last cohort that we're offering this cohort, which is a $1,200, or actually, I'm sorry, it's a $1,497 detox. So we just shared about that today, and that's running through Monday. If you schedule a call between today and Monday, you're eligible for that. So I just wanted to take a moment to share that as well for those of you that listen to the replay. Okay, so the retreat, Chrissy. So this is an important part for us to share of, even though we're doing it at a new location this year, the premise and the agenda as far as some of the important pieces around yoga psychology work, the somatic mind, body, soul work, the fire transformation ceremony that we're going to be doing. Those are going to be an alignment of some things that you can share that is going to be similar to what we're doing this year in Asheville. So if you want to take a moment to just share your experience and what that was like at the retreat for us to all come together in person last year.
It was nice. I came in, on my own, and I kind of was focused kind of a little bit more inward, and I was met with, everybody that was very welcoming. I felt comfortable coming in, and you had wonderful notes and everything prepared so that I could, it was comfortable. I didn't have to necessarily have anything other than to show up. And I enjoyed the lectures and the practice, and the food was really good. Yeah, so at the end, I did have, I went back with connections, and I really did like that we were able to get together and share in that way. And it felt very empowering in each thing that we went over. So it was like just the start of something that I was going to bring home and consistently practice in, that I knew was going to be very empowering for me. And of course, I have 2 daughters, so I try to get them into the same kind of habits now as they're young, so that this is just something that's natural later in life when they're an adult.
So take a minute to share. Do you remember what it was that you released when we were at the retreat? Was what samskara pattern or emotional pattern? What was it that you released when we did the fire transformation ceremony?
At that time, I was a little bit kind of wanting a result from something that wasn't, it wasn't like going the way I wanted it. So I just, released that and just kind of got a little bit more into the flow of things, and whatever's meant for me will easily kind of come into my sphere, and I didn't have to really try to hang on to any kind of control or anything like that. So that was a big release, and kind of gaining a little bit more confidence through just knowing that everything is going to be working out to
your favor.
Yes. So and it has too. It's just you gotta let go. And
and it's interesting too. Like Anita and I talked about this a little bit too, of how powerful that was to stand back and watch you guys do all that, because every single person in that group, in the circle, shared and read their letter and released it and burned it. And it was so powerful to stand back and watch, like as a teacher. And I cannot wait to see what happens this summer in July, because that was probably one of the most powerful things that we did in that weekend, was the fire transformation. And it's meant to be a symbol, right? It's meant to be a ritual and a ceremony. We also sage going in and out of the ceremony. I also actually did anointing, where I actually anointed you all as well. So it's definitely meant to be, a fire transformation, but it's also ceremonial as well. It's meant to be symbolic, of letting go of something that no longer serves you, right? Like, it's like, boom, like that's it. I'm drawing a line in the sand, intergenerational healing. I'm letting this go. right? And that's some syncopa and the intention behind it. So, which is why those can be so powerful. And I cannot wait to do one this summer because we have a whole, they have a whole section that is fire pit, like a special place, like similar to what was at Prama, but they're going to have a whole, firewood and all that stuff is going to be built up, and it's going to be kind of like more like a bonfire. So we're going to, assuming it doesn't rain.
Oh, I know.
It is going to be a bonfire, and we're going to manifest and pray on that. That is going to, it is not going to rain this time. We're going to have this giant bonfire. But I just want to take a quick moment to share a little bit about the retreat because it's going to be at a powerful location this year. It's actually going to be at a location called Lake Junaluska, and that is in Asheville, and it is completely surrounded by mountains. So I believe there's 2 different mountain ranges. I don't know the exact, all of it that comes together there, but I do know it's partially surrounded by the Blue Ridge Mountains, and you all will be staying in the equivalent of a 4-star hotel. There is the option of doing gluten-free, dairy-free, vegan, or vegetarian. So there are dietary restrictions that you can ask for. You also will have free time on Saturday where you can do canoeing, kayaking, pool, tennis, golf. Walking around the lake is about a mile around. It might be longer than that, but you can also walk around the lake. There is literally hiking within 15 minutes of the conference center that you can go hiking. So lots of other things to do on the property. And then we're going to be doing yoga Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Saturday and Sunday will be outside, weather permitting. We have a backup plan for any time we're outside. We have another room put aside in case it does, for whatever reason, it does rain. But I am super, super excited. We're going to be integrating meditation and prayer and breath work and music and yoga psychology and transformational exercises and journaling and fire transformation and all things. So it will be, I promise you, a life-changing experience. Oh, however, I did want to mention that it's not required for the certification. So for example, we had somebody that joined us from Alaska. Okay. And she's not going to be able to make it to the retreat, but she can still get the certification. So that's one of the reasons why we did not make it mandatory. 2 reasons. One, because of COVID, in case somebody is worried about COVID and they just don't feel comfortable coming in person. And second, if the travel just doesn't work for them. So a majority of people, I'd say about 80%, are able to come in person. And we even have people coming from Florida, from New York City, from Colorado, from all over that are coming. But I just want to make sure I share that so that somebody doesn't get concerned. Like, well, I can't make it to the retreat. You can still come, or you can still get your certification. The other thing that we've done is, for example, the cohort that we had in February, those women, next year can join another retreat, right? So we'll work those things out 2023, but just wanted to mention that. Okay, so we talked about the retreat, we talked about the structure, we talked about the learning management system, we talked about the consultations. Tell us a little bit about your inner critics, Chrissy, that you've been able to identify, like the taskmaster or the people pleaser, the overachiever, the perfectionist, the imposter syndrome. Who do you think you are to teach yoga? Who do you think you are to be a mentor, Chrissy? And the comparison and the conformist inner critic, where you're comparing yourself to other women. So tell us a little bit about that journey for you. What have you been able to work on over the past year around that?
I'm a taskmaster, and that is something that I know. I have known that I need to just slow down and allow the best yes rather than everything that sounds great. So I really took some time to, in fact, I do this it's about this time every year. I always kind of clear my slate, and then I try to only allow the most important things back into my schedule. So, and I know that it really does start to add up throughout the year, but I do annually take time to just get it all realigned. And that's something that I probably should do, every 3 months or so, or even less, every month. But it's just, I think that sometimes things come up that you really need, you have to do. But just having better, healthier boundaries in those tasks also, and being better communicative with people around. And then also the feeling of what I did get done is enough. So it's not, there's never that lingering feeling of, oh, I didn't get enough done, or, oh, I didn't do enough today, or what I did was not enough. So just kind of being, happy with the, if you put your best forward, then that's enough. That's, perfect. So even doing that in classes, and I always try to bring I'm not an extreme profession, I'm not like, I don't have all the knowledge of the world or anything like that, but I do have the knowledge of what I've personally experienced, and that is what I can teach in my classes. So I've kind of kept to where that is enough, and people do value what I share. So it's just a matter of just being happy with where you are and everything that's around you. So
well, I'm right there with you. I shared in the comments WiseMind Soul Warrior. Again, that's the page, the information page, and then there's about 5 places on there you can actually schedule a consult call. So there's 2 ways you can do it, either wisemindsoulwarrior.com or wisemindsoulwarrior.com/book. That just takes you right to the consult call page. So I can definitely relate to you with with Taskmaster, with People Pleaser. That's one of the reasons why I did the Inner Critic Challenge in May, a couple weeks ago, because I can personally relate, right? That's been part of my healing journey, of every single one of those 4 inner critics. Okay. And the Taskmaster, the overachiever, nothing is ever enough, workaholic, I said people pleaser, all of that is kind of related under the Taskmaster inner critic. And recovering perfectionist, recovering workaholic, recovering imposter syndrome of who do you think you are, Jenny? That was a huge learning curve for me when I started teaching yoga. And now it's been going on 10 years. And so I've been able to work through that part of it because I have so much, I've done the certifications, I've done the experience, I've done the teaching, I've coached people, you know what I mean? So I'm at that point where it's like, not in an ego way, but in a way of unconditionally loving myself and accepting myself, and also being in tune with what my gifts are and living my life's purpose.
Right.
Right. And being okay with stepping in to a leadership role, to be okay to step into my purpose, because I have worked on it for years. Okay. Yeah. So it finally is here. And I'm getting chills, talking about it, because Chrissy, you and I have talked about this. I've done talk therapy, girl, since I was in my 20s, right? So the point is, I have earned, to be able to let go of my imposter syndrome and to see myself as perfectly imperfect,
right.
And to unconditionally love myself, and to learn through the self-discovery process, which is what you and every student is meant to do in this training, is to really go deeper into the self-inquiry, self-discovery process, where we can pull back the layers and the masks and the hurts and the resentments and the trauma and the family of origin trauma and the samskara patterns and all the things that we have to release, so that we can actually be in our life's purpose, to actually live our dharma. Because if we don't release all those things, we can't be, in the state of peace and calm and your soul's alignment if you've not let those things go, and if you've not healed and transformed those things. So that's what lit me on fire, to be able to come now and teach it to you guys. And then whoever chooses to go out and work with their own students and clients, then they can take it out into the world, and then it creates a ripple effect, because I'm only one person. I can only do so much. But if we can get this in the hands of more teachers and coaches and students that then take it out to their families or their peers or their clients, then we're creating a ripple effect, because people needed this work before COVID, but they certainly need it now. Okay. Because this is my life's work, right? I've put everything into this. This is what I do. This is my purpose. This is what I do. So, I'm so grateful. I'm so honored to have students like you and leadership like you and other women in the group, that I'm so blessed truly to be able to sit back and watch you guys transform and like step into your authentic self, and step into like your living your dharma and your purpose. And Anita and I talked about this too, and Archana, that it is such a gift truly to sit back and watch you guys, because I can see the transformation. I can sit back and I can observe it and watch it in such a kind, compassionate way, that we're all healing, right? I'm healing, you're healing. It's a lifelong journey, right? So there's no really end to healing. So if anyone tells you that there's an end to healing, they're not being honest, because shadow work and soul work and healing work is a lifelong journey.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay.
But I'm so grateful.
Yeah, I'm so grateful. I mean, truly. So one last piece. If you were sitting down and talking to someone, Chrissy, and they were like, well, I'm thinking about doing WiseMind yoga, and what would you tell that person that doesn't know me, or that, may not be as familiar with WiseMind yoga? What would you tell that person that's considering either getting on a consultation call with me and or joining the program? What would you tell that student?
Well, I think the consultation call is something that is worth taking that step to explore, to kind of get to know you face to face and talk about everything, and just kind of putting yourself out there a little bit, and also learning more about the program itself. That's like a really good step, and it's you aren't obligated to anything. You just check it out, and but I think it is something that, as long as you're really ready to move forward and have these tools in order to, get some consistency and support, and, want to work on your studies and then be able to share, I think this is an excellent step. And I wouldn't worry about it. If it comes into your sphere, sometimes it's like coming to you at the perfect timing.
Right. Yeah. And you're never 100% ready, right? Hashtag
yeah.
You're never 100% ready for anything. You have to step into it despite the fear, despite the, and that's like that in anything, right? Like I'm hashtag, ready as a lie, right? So you step into it even though you have a little bit of fear or a little bit of uncertainty, because you're always going into your next growth zone and you're always growing. So just like we're, on this lifelong healing journey, we're all lifelong students and we're all on a growth path and we're always evolving, right? So something that I might have been ready, I might not have been ready for something like this 5 years ago or 3 years ago of what I'm stepping into now. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And it'll be different a year from now, 3 years from now, and so forth, right? Because we're always healing and evolving.
And I, looking through the modules, this is material that you'll go back to years from now and just, keep going back to it. Cause I still do that with my 200 YTT. I have everything and I always go back to it. There comes a point where that material is already picked through, but
right.
This
that's a great point, Chrissy. Thanks for bringing that up, because students do have lifelong access to the training. So even though it's a 6-month program and we're going to be starting in June, but we have limited spots available. So like I said, we have 20 students that we're accepting, And as soon as somebody enrolls, like they have immediate access into the LMS. So they can immediately start taking classes, meditations, start downloading shadow work, journaling exercises. Like they don't have to wait for us to start. But we will be having our first virtual retreat will be June the 15th. And we'll have 3 virtual retreats, as you know, and that's all on the page. So you can get more information on the page. We've got a trauma counselor that's going to be a guest speaker in August. We have a functional medicine and women's health expert that will be coming in June. And then we have Ramesh is our detox cleanse expert. We might be bringing some other people in. Chrissy and I have talked about, but tentatively he's coming in October. So that's kind of a layout of some of the other guests that we'll have coming in, because this is considered a trauma sensitive training as well. So for those teachers that are interested in trauma sensitive, you'll have that as well. So one last piece, Chrissy, I wanted to share, I know that you are an entrepreneur yourself and that you teach locally as well. And so I would love to take a moment to share anything that would be helpful to share for you, whether it's, you know, the Mindful Movement website or if it's a page. So you tell me, as far as the link, what would be helpful for me to share with people that are going to be watching the replay of this?
Usually I direct everybody to the Facebook page. It's Mindful Motion LLC. And that is where I post any of my classes, or I just post useful information that I had come across and wanted to share.
Right. So someone was trying to find you on Facebook. Is it Mindful Movement? Is that the Facebook page?
Mindful Motion LLC. And so it's just, you can do FB dot, it's like FB dot, I would have to just share the link. It's been a while since but
let's see, Mondays in Garner. Okay, so what reminds me, how do you say, is it dance art? Is that how you say it? Am I saying that right?
Yeah, dance art, yoga. I teach Monday nights there. We're going from two classes a night into just one over the summer, but then we'll go back to the 2.
So what's the one that you're going to be doing over the summer? Is it the flow or the yin?
It's going to be kind of merging the 2. I'm going to be doing movement, and I want to focus on movement and then also toning. So I'm going to, have a little activity at the beginning of class, maybe even bring in some weights so that we can, fit and tone. But I want to end with our breath and meditation and, a nice
So
rest.
What time will that one be that you are doing in the summer?
That will be 7 p.m. every Monday night throughout the summer.
Monday nights at 7 p.m. And then normally Chrissy does 2 classes, one at 6:30, that's a flow class, and then a yin class at 7:30. So that'll go back in September. But
yes.
So her normal schedule. So she teaches locally here in Garner. So just FYI on that. And then you can find her on Facebook at Mindful Motion LLC. And you can like her Facebook page. You can message her there. She also has a beautiful email list. So she does do like monthly newsletters. So I just want to take a moment to mention that. So I am so grateful, Chrissy. Thank you so much. I know you're super busy right now with everything you have going on at work, and you're getting ready to leave for your trip. So I really appreciate you taking the time to get on here with me and to share your experience with everyone. It really means a lot. I'm really grateful. Thank you. And I'll put the link in the comments one more time, which is WiseMindYoga.com. Whoops, I keep doing the wrong thing. WiseMind Soul Warrior. I'm so used to doing WiseMind Yoga. WiseMindSoulWarrior.com/book. And that is the consultation page. So I want to say one last thing. Again, with the consultation, as Chrissy mentioned, I am definitely not here to pressure anyone. I am all about flow and figuring out the timing if this is going to work for you. Again, we're going to talk about things if you feel comfortable sharing, which most people do. Have you done any kind of talk therapy? Have you done other programs? Maybe are you on different medications? Are you struggling with depression or anxiety? Like, are you struggling with these different inner critics or self-sabotage or toxic thinking patterns? What is it that you're struggling with right now, and where is it you want to go in the next 6 to 12 months? If you are someone who's a wellness entrepreneur or a yoga teacher, we can certainly talk about business stuff as well. Again, this is meant, I'm giving you 30 minutes of my time of, for us to talk about whatever you need to cover, and then also answering questions about the program and to see if it's a good fit for you. So again, there's no pressure. We also talk about different payment options. And I work with all the students on trying to figure out what works best for them based on what's going on, financially for them. So just know that if you're in alignment, that you're ready to do this energetically and timing wise, and you're ready to step into going deeper into your healing, and you're ready to step into like this soul sisterhood of being supported, and you really want to, start this transformation, then we'll figure the other part out to support you to figure out financially how that can work for you. Okay. So I know Archana shared about that as well, that I did that with her and her payment plans. So my point is, I'm here to try to support you as best I can. And it is sincere and authentic that if you want to be able to be part of this, we want to figure out a way that you can. Okay. And the retreat is included, and also the detox is included as well. So even between just the retreat and the detox, it's about $3,000 of bonuses just for those two things. So we give away a lot in addition to what you get, if that makes any sense, because you will leave with a Yoga Alliance certification. We are a Yoga Alliance accredited school. So I wanted to take a moment to mention that as well. And I'm going to put that in the comments. And for those of you that don't know what that is the yoga governing body. And we have to go through a whole process in order to get accredited. Very long process. Okay. So check that box, because if those of you that are not familiar, Yoga Alliance is the governing body of what we have as of right now over yoga. Okay. All right. So again, Chrissy, thank you so much. I am so grateful. And I cannot wait to see who ends up with Chrissy mentoring them this year, and this new cohort that's going to start, and who I get to meet at the retreat, who I have not met yet in person. So I'm super excited for that. So I'm sending you all so much love, light, and blessing. Thank you again, Chrissy. And we will see you all very soon. Have a beautiful day. Thank you so much, Chrissy.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.